What is up? We got part two of our little inequalities lesson. We went from one-step inequalities and now we're kind of taking it to the next level a little bit with the two-step inequalities. So let's just kind of get right into it. Let's get after it. The good thing about this lesson is we don't need to do a bunch of those kind of notes that were in the beginning to lay the foundation. We can just start to practice a little bit, and you can see there's some distributive property stuff going on here, which is going to be interesting. But you kids can handle this. This is totally doable. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to say 2x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 24. Now, first step, remember, we want to get the variable and anything that's stuck to the variable by itself. Okay, we can't deal with that 2 that's stuck to it until the very end. And I just got an email and I want to make sure it's not from a kid who needs help. So give me 1 second. I think we're good. So that means that we need to get rid of this 4. It's a positive 4, so we're going to subtract 4 and subtract 4 and cross it out. Okay, so we have 2x is greater than or equal to, I think that's going to be 20. And anytime we get here, we know that we got to just get rid of that 2. And that if you have a number that's stuck to an x or a variable, just divide by that number. And since we're dividing, you need to ask yourself, is that negative down there? Because if we divide by a negative number, we have to what? Flip the sign, right? But this isn't negative, so we're good. So our answer looks like this: x, this sign, and 10. Okay, so now we got to go through kind of a process. The process is, we know we're going to be at 10. Is it going to be open or closed? Well, that equal sign underneath tells us it's going to be closed. So at 10, we have a closed point. Okay, now we got to ask ourselves, is that mouth eating the variable? And it is. It's eating the variable, so we know we're going to have greater than, and greater than means we're going to the right. Okay, that was a good refresher. And we just went from one-step inequalities to two-step. So it's not the end of the world, right? But this one is going to be a little trickier here because we've got to distribute and distribute. Okay, so we have negative 3 times p is negative 3p. Negative 3 times positive 1 is negative 3. Keep the sign the same. Negative 18. Okay, remember, we want to get the variable and anything that's stuck to the variable by itself, which means we got to get rid of this guy here. He's a negative 3, so we're going to add 3. Gone. Okay, it looks like we've got just our negative 3p there. We have our sign, and we have, I think, negative 15. Now, this is where you need to be very careful because we got to get rid of this negative 3. We're going to divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. And you notice here that we divided by a negative, which means we have to what? Flip this sign. So we're going to flip it from facing that way to facing this way. So we've got a p, and then negative divided by negative is a positive 5. Okay, so we know at 5, we're going to have a closed point because of that equal sign down there. So at 5, closed point on the equal sign. And then it's eating the variable. Since it's eating our variable, we're going to go to the right. Okay, what do you think about that? Pretty simple, yeah? Okay, well, why don't you, just for the heck of it, why don't you try 6 right here on your own? So get after 6, press pause, attack 6. I'm going to check my email really quickly. And we're ready. We're ready to go over 6. Hopefully you did it. If you didn't, press pause and complete it, and then press play. But the first thing we're going to do with 6 is distribute. Boom, boom, right? Okay, so we have negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Then we have negative 4 times positive n, which is negative 4n. And then we have this sign right here. And then we have our negative 32. Okay, we know that we want this guy by himself, which means we need to get rid of this negative 12. We can get rid of the negative 12 by adding 12. Cancel. And it looks like we have negative 4n, this sign, And man, what is that going to be? A negative 20, I think. Okay, we need to get rid of the negative 4. So we're going to divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. And you need to tell yourself, oh man, I divided by a negative, so I need to flip the sign. So that cancels, and we have an n. We need to flip that sign the other way, and then negative divided by a negative is a positive, so I think it's going to be a positive 5. And now we got to graph this puppy. So we say, hey, at the 5, there's no equal sign, so I'm going to have an open point. And it's not eating the variable, okay? It's not eating the n, which means it's going to be less than. Okay? What do you guys think? And girls? Pretty easy? Okay. Let's see if there's anything tough down here. 7 looks a little tricky to me because we haven't seen anything like 7 before. Okay, you've never seen anything. Even though 7 looks tricky, it's not bad. Okay, look what's going on here. This is all one piece. Actually, the equal sign or the plus sign is part of it. That's all one piece. We want to get that by itself. Well, that means we got to get rid of this 4. So let's subtract 4. Let's subtract 4. Okay, cancel. So it looks like we have n over 3, this sign, and 6 minus 4 is 2. I'm so hungry. Like, it's hard for me to like even think right now because my stomach is just like yelling at me. So what's being done to the variable? N's being divided by 3, so we're going to multiply by 3. Cancel. Did we multiply by a negative number? No, we didn't. So we're good. So that means our answer is going to look like this. We have n. We have this sign because nothing flipped. And 2 times 3 is 6. So we come up here. At the 6, we're going to have an open point. It's open because there's no equal sign underneath. If there was an equal sign underneath, it'd be closed. And then, is that mouth eating the n? No, it's not eating the variable. So that means we're going to have less than. Less than means left. If it was eating the variable, we would have greater than, and greater than would be to the right. Okay? So right now, on your own, I want you to attack 10, and I want you to attack 11 on your own. You're going to press pause, okay? You're going to attack these problems, crush it, get it right, hopefully, and when you're done, press play, and we can go through them. Okay, 10. First step, distribute, distribute. It looks like we have negative 3p plus 21 is this sign and 21. Okay, that's fine. We want to get this guy by himself, right? Which means we need to get rid of this 21. Okay. And I think we have, as you can see, we have our negative 3p that's left here. We have this guy right there. And then 21 minus 21 is 0. Okay? Divide negative 3. Divide negative 3. Did we divide by a negative? Yes, we did, which means we need to flip that sign. So that sign is going to be flipped to look the other direction. That cancels, so we have a p there. And then we have 0 divided by, it's going to give us 0. So we have at the 0, there's an equal sign under, so we have a closed point, right? And then is that mouth eating the variable? No, it's not, which means we have less than, so we're going to the left. Boom. Okay, now that's our answer right there. Moving on to 11. We'll probably be done with after 11. Okay, 11, this guy right here, we need him by himself. So we're going to add 4. We're going to add 4, cancel. We have negative 11x, that sign. And then what do we get there? I think we get negative 11. Okay, we got to divide by negative 11. Divide by negative 11. Oh man, that's a negative, isn't it? So I know I'm going to have to flip the sign from that way to that way. That cancels. I have my x, and this is positive 1. Okay? Now, let's graph this puppy. At 1, sorry, stinking bell at school. At 1, it's going to be open. Is it eating the variable? No, it's not eating the variable. So it's less than and to the left. All right? So that's pretty much it. We're going to get a little trickier, a little crazier. Um, moving forward, we are, but for this week, I think that's probably going to be the bulk of what we're learning. So go ahead and finish your assignment, and then I'm proud of you kids. Crushed it.